we'll get onto some of the action coming up this weekend very shortly, ladies and gents. But firstly, dear listener, do you want tickets to a championship game this season? Then listen up, my beautiful little soldiers. We are once again giving away 2 free tickets to see your team. It's as part of our competition for our Patreon members. All you've got to do is sign up to the second tier Patreon and sign up for just £3.50 a month. It's patreon.com/second tier. And then you just have to answer this week's competition question, which is the following. Billy Sharp is famously the highest scoring player in Championship history with 130 goals. But who, I ask you, is the highest scoring player who is still active in the Championship? Quite a tricky question, so whoever gets those tickets has bloody earned them. So the question will go live on our Patreon page at 7 p.m. tonight, and you have until Sunday night to answer it. So sign up to patreon.com/second tier, answer this week's question, and you could be in with a chance of winning 2 tickets to go and see your club. And you'll, of course, get loads of other benefits as well, including access to our amazing second tier Discord, which is, of course, the very best place to chat about the Championship. Well, there we go, ladies and gents. That's how you can get involved in the competition. Well, let's have a look ahead to the weekend, and we'll begin with our game of the weekend, which is the clash on Friday night between 2 out-of-form teams in the Championship. It's Luton Town and West Bromwich Albion at Kenilworth Road. Luton are 13-8 to win this one with SBK. West Brom are 15-8. The draw is 23-10. So a very difficult one to call in the Curtis Davies derby, Justin.
The Curtis Davies derby. And now I'm trying to think of others. I know Paul Furlong used to play for Luton, and now he's someplace for West Brom, Darnell Furlong, so maybe there's a link there.
Yeah, that's a nice little link. I think really I should start testing you each week on what derby it is, Player X derby, the one that I've got written down, and you try and figure out which one it is. As long as it's not an actual derby, of course, because that one's already got a name.
Yeah, I feel like I could pretty much nail it, or at least come up with a random player, much as my really useless back catalogue of Championship knowledge.
Yes, well, indeed. But I mean, it's always nice to hear random players aired on this podcast at all times. And so maybe that's something we'll do from here on in. We'll wait and see, ladies and gents. Also, got to say, Curtis Davies getting a lot of punditry work nowadays, isn't he? Which is great, because he seems like a genuinely lovely bloke, doesn't he? Great player as well, Justin. Great player. Yeah. Really random Curtis Davies segue, but yeah, a brilliant player, great leader. Carried Derby through some of the darkest times in their history. He's just saying he looks like a really nice bloke.
He does look like a lovely bloke. He looks like a guy who doesn't drink, but he won't begrudge you if you order a pint.
Do people do that?
Well, I feel like some would be like, what are you going to drink for? I can't drink. Why are you going to drink? He'd happily be the designated driver. He knows his role in the social group. Okay, fine. I didn't realise begrudging people having a drink was such a thing. But we'll swiftly move on, because I don't know where we're going with this. But got to be said, Curtis Davies, one of those rare players as well, who's regarded pretty well at every club he's been at as well, hasn't he? Which is a very difficult thing to do. So well done, Curtis Davies, and congrats on the punditry work. Anyway, Justin, Luton Town v West Bromwich Albion. These two, both pretty desperate for a win, aren't they? I think that's safe to say. Luton have just 1 win in 6. West Brom winless in 6 as well. Well, not as well, but, same amount of form. We'll start with Luton, Justin, who, it's got to be said, looked like they were turning a corner this time last week. But then they had that dramatic collapse against Coventry on Saturday lunchtime. So now it's very intriguing to see how they respond, isn't it? Well, you talk about it being a dramatic collapse against Coventry. I don't think it was that dramatic, because you could see it coming as soon as Coventry got one back. Luton's heads dropped and they just retreated back into their own half. So it just felt like a Coventry equaliser at the very least was inevitable. But you were absolutely right. It will be interesting to see how Luton respond, because we keep saying it. It's almost become a cliche this season. Luton look like they're going to turn a corner. and then they don't. But look, I'm really concerned about Luton at the moment, especially going into this game. This is a fixture you don't want to play against. I'll say this about West Brom. At any point in the season, no matter their form, playing West Brom at any point, you don't want to be doing that, especially if you're in a bumpy patch of form yourself. Because I know, despite West Brom finding it winning recently difficult, they're still a stubborn outfit. They're not going to give Luton too many chances. So Luton are going to need to be razor sharp going forwards, and whilst they've been okay, it's really at the back where they are. Very, very. It's not comfortable watching them at all.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get any more comfortable watching him on Friday night, Justin, because Rob Edwards has admitted he has no idea how Luton are going to set up defensively for this one.
Well done. He's the manager. Great.
Well, you didn't let me finish why, because I think he's got a good excuse here. He's already missing 5 defenders through injury, but now he's also without Tom Holmes, who was of course sent off against Coventry, and he's without Alfie Doherty, who picked up his 5th yellow card of the season in that game. And got to be said, his absence in particular is really bad news for Luton, isn't it? Because in this poor form, he's probably the one who's come out of it with the most credit. So it will be interesting to see how Rob Edwards deals with the absentees in his defence. Has got to be said, he has to deal with it though, Justin, because the pressure is seriously mounting on him, isn't it? And it's getting to the point where you start asking, how much longer does this go on before a decision is made? Do you think that a poor result here could be the straw that breaks the camel's back?
With the international break losing, it does point to a potential decision being made. And if I was in Luton's shoes, we were talking extensively about sentimental managers or managerial positions in yesterday's episode. But if I was in the shoes of Luton and I still had the ambition of competing for promotion this season, albeit automatics are probably all but done, you can still try and push for the playoffs. But if I still had those aspirations, I would seriously consider making a decision. And that comes down to the pressure that's now going to be on Rob Edwards, but also the other factors as well. They're the 7th biggest spenders in the Championship when it comes to transfer expenditure. I know they brought in a fair bit of money, but they spent it as well. And the 6 teams who spent more than them this season are above Luton. So that carries expectation. And then you've not even factored in the fact that the team looks slow, looks lethargic, looks easy to play through. It's not how it should be. It's not how it should be. This Luton team is built on very simple principles, and they look nowhere near grappling them. Once more, they look a far cry from where they used to be, and that's a massive downgrade for this Luton team.
I think I will give Luton slightly more credit than you there, because I think if you blank out the Coventry game, which is obviously quite a big thing to blank out, but they did look like they were improving before that. Obviously, the 3-0 win against Watford a couple of weeks ago was a fantastic result, and Luton looked really, really good there, although Watford were pretty poor that day. And then the Sunderland game was bizarre, really, because many Luton fans I've seen have said that was their best performance of the season, but they lost. Small signs of improvement, but then it kind of gets thrown out the window when you throw away a 2-goal lead at a team who have started the season pretty poorly in their own right in Coventry. So, a result here for Luton is absolutely massive. I don't think that's anyone else needs to be told that, particularly Rob Edwards, who I would imagine knows that he's very much under pressure, and if he doesn't turn it around soon, then all the goodwill that he's raised over the past couple of years may very well go out the window. But look, West Brom, they're not great shakes themselves, really, are they, Justin? We haven't given their drop in form a massive amount of coverage, probably because it's not been a catastrophic drop-off by any means. They're still in the top 6 as we speak right now. They've just been very flat, haven't they? No win in 6, although they have drawn their last 4. Only 1 goal scored in the last 5, which is a bit concerning. It's just not really clicking for the Albion right now, is it?
Yeah, they're such a unique case, because whilst the poor form has gone under the radar, you can argue that the drop-off has been significant, but it really hasn't. Obviously, they lost back-to-back games, and it felt like there was a big wound starting to open up, but they plastered themselves up and have drawn the last 4. They have got back-to-back clean sheets, and their away record is very healthy. But like you were alluding to, the goalless, or the lack of goals they're putting away that's the concern. That's the real concern. Josh Maja's goalless in his last 5. Obviously, he was electric when the season began. But I do think you have to start pointing the finger at others within the team. They need to start carrying some of that burden as well. You look at some of the fringe players like Lewis Dobbin. He's yet to really have an impact. Mikey Johnson hasn't got anywhere near his form of last season. John Swift's yet to register an assist. So I think the easy finger to point, or the direction you should be pointing the finger, I should say, is the individuals who definitely can be doing much, much better.
Well, if you think it's bad going forwards, then there may be concerns about the defence as well, because West Brom have now got their own defensive crisis. They've lost 3 centre-backs to injury in the space of a fortnight. The 2 who started against Cardiff at the weekend, Semi Ajayi and Paddy McNair, they both look like they're going to be out until the new year now, which is far from ideal. And Cal Bartley is going to be out for 6 weeks as well. The only 2 fit and available centre-halves they've got are Mason Holgate and Torbjorn Hegem. Hegem has played most of his games so far in a West Brom shirt at left-back, and Holgate's only played 16 minutes of football so far this season. So, not ideal, it's got to be said. And it's not ideal trying to figure out how this game is going to go, Justin, because the mix of the injury problems and just availability issues for both these teams, and obviously the mixture of the poor form, means this is a really, really difficult one to call, I find.
Yeah, it's such an interesting one. It'll be a game where I think, obviously, with the issues that both managers will have selection-wise in terms of player availability, that's going to be a big difference maker. But I think what you can still point out is both of these managers still got a good amount of quality attacking players at their disposal. Lacking a lot defensively, but they've got them going forwards, which is a huge positive. So I think it's going to be a case of who's going to be braver. With Luton's form, they open themselves up, as we saw against Coventry. They can be easily played through, and West Brom will find those gaps. And with West Brom, it's a case of, okay, let's take our foot off the pedal, be a little bit braver, and go through these gears that we know that we've got. So I think that's the real conundrum with both these managers going into this game, which was, it's going to make it such an intriguing fixture on a Friday night.
Yeah, really difficult one to call, which is very handy because it's now time for our second tier bet builder, where we've got to predict how it's going to go. Well, look, Justin, you and I both make a bet builder each week, don't we? And it is for Luton v West Brom this weekend, where our friends at SBK are offering a 25% boost on bet builders for this game. And of course, SBK is the place to go for betting on the Championship because of their industry-leading odds. And if you don't believe us, sign up today and find out for yourself. So every Friday, we make our own bet builder with 4 selections all relating to our game of the week. So that's 2 for Justin and 2 for me. Justin Peach, kick us off with the first selection in our bet builder for Luton v West Brom.
I've gone with Elijah Adebayo to have a shot on target. Adebayo's form has really improved of late. Performances have been increasing, but also he's found the back of the net in his last 2 games, despite being goalless until the Sunderland defeat last week. He's proved time and time again as well. He's very good at going into goal scoring positions. So whether or not he's got his shooting or his scoring boots on, he's going to find a way in front of goal. And for him to go through a game and probably not have 3 or 4 shots towards goal would be a rare occasion. So for me, I'm backing Adebayo to have a shot on target here.
Well, he's had 5 shots on target across his last 3 games. He's getting those openings, isn't he? So hopefully that continues against a stubborn West Brom side. But as we say, with the West Brom's defensive issues in terms of injuries, you may get a few more opportunities than you would initially expect. So this should be a pretty safe pick to help boost our odds. Quick mention as well with SBK, if you do have a shot on target selection in your bet builder, even if your player gets subbed off for whatever reason, then the selection will roll over onto whoever comes on for them, which is very handy to know, isn't it, Justin? Let's go on to my first selection for our bet builder. It's under 4.5 cards. Yes, I'm back with a card selection for the old bet builder. Ryan D is back on the card picks for the old BB. I'm thinking this shouldn't be a card-heavy affair. That's because the referee for this is Dean Whitestone. Now, he's a good lad, is old Dino. Likes to keep his cards in his pocket if he can. Over his last 12 games that he's officiated, he's given more than 4.5 cards in just 2 of them. When he does get card happy, he does get a bit carried away, but they're relatively rare occasions. So on the balance of his recent record, it looks like he's going to be trying to make this a rather well-mannered affair, Justin. I think that'll be the case here. Are you fine with that?
I am. Dean Whitestone is it's a very NPC name, like a generic referee you'd used to get on FIFA. But that's all I've really got to add to that. I think you are the expert when it comes to picking out your card picks. Whether or not they come in every week is another story, but you do your research, and that's all we can ask for.
I think they have come in most weeks, my card picks. I haven't got the information down in front of me to back that up, but I'm pretty sure we've got a pretty good record when it comes to the old cards for me this season. So make sure you stick that in your old bet builder, ladies and gents. Let's go on to your next selection, Justin. What have you got?
I've gone with under 3.5 goals.
Shock.
This one, this one for me is falling on West Brom. I think, as you saw with Luton, they do have the habit of, or the ability to have a high scoring game. You look at the Coventry game as an example last weekend, but this one's falling on West Brom. I can't see Luton scoring 2 or 3 goals here. They might well do, but that'll be a very, very rare thing. West Brom have kept 3 clean sheets in their last 5, and there hasn't been over 2 goals scored in the game featuring the Baggies since Sheffield Wednesday beat them 3-2 back in September. So whilst West Brom haven't been free scoring going forwards, they're not leaking chances at the back. So I'm going with a tight game, under 3.5 goals.
I think you're not really giving the stats enough credit there, Justin, because you said the last time they had a game over 3.5 goals was Sheffield Wednesday back in September. Well, it's only just turned November, so that doesn't really give a good idea of how long it's been. But
over 30 days.
I will do your job for you because I think you would be a very brave man to back goals in a West Brom game at the moment. 1 goal scored, 2 goals conceded over the last 5 games. That's a pretty insane record, isn't it? They've had under 3.5 goals in their last 5 games, Justin. So that's why you'd be safe backing not many goals in this game. The only thing that slightly makes me worry about this is Luton games have a tendency to be a bit chaotic this season, but having said that, they've only seen over 3.5 goals in one of their last 5 home games. So hopefully this is another safe pick when it comes to the old bet builder. And the final selection that we'll make for Luton v West Brom is Luton Town to win. Yeah, look, this is a really hard one to call. 2 teams who could really do with a win. Not a whole lot of evidence to convincingly back one or the other, but on the balance of probability, I'll side with Luton. I think they can take encouragement from their last 2 games at Kenilworth Road. As we say, the 3-0 battering of Watford was a proper back with a bang kind of performance. And as we were alluding to earlier, you could argue that they were even better against Sunderland despite losing. I think they just came up against a very stubborn Sunderland side that day. Of course, the collapse at Coventry was very disappointing, but they can take positives from the fact that they were 2-0 up in the first place. Plus, Adebayo, Carlton Morris being amongst the goals is huge for their confidence. Whereas with West Brom right now, it's just not clicking for them. So I'm seeing more pros with Luton than West Brom. Not by a whole lot, but just. I think no Alfie Doherty is a big problem for Luton, and I'm curious to see how Rob Edwards deals with that, I will say. But I think Luton have marginally got more going in their favour. I'm also trying not to overreact to the Coventry game too much, and therefore I will go with a Luton win. Justin, you've been pulling faces at me during this.
I am. I'm just putting up our conversation we had on WhatsApp because when you sent this to me, I raised my eyebrows, and you told me, and I quote, "I know what you're going to say about Luton to win, but I'll justify it." Ryan, I don't think you've justified. I don't think you've justified it for me.
Well. What would you go for then in this then?
If I was to go with anything, I'd go with West Brom double chance, because I think it's going to be a tight game. I think West Brom are more likely to win.
The odds aren't there. That's the thing. Because
that might be the case.
As we were alluding to, that SBK, they have as little clue about how this game is going to go as us. So that's why it's a really, really tough one to call this. I think this may be the toughest game we've had to call in terms of our game of the weekend so far this season, I would say. So that's why you're scraping the barrel if you're trying to come up with any solid evidence to back either side, I think.
Yeah, true. But I think when you consider how good defensively West Brom are, I know personnel-wise they're going to be lacking going into this game. But if any team's going to edge it and probably look more confident in themselves, it's going to be West Brom, because I just don't think this Luton team is convincing. And I know you said the last two performances
West Brom convincing
at home. I think they've been, because you've got to factor in how good they are defensively. They've been very good defensively despite not picking up wins.
Did you not hear what I was just saying about all their defenders getting injured and one goal in their last 5 games?
But it's Carlos Corberán. He's a tactician. He knows what he's doing. He will have his team set up. I think that the worrying thing is about Rob Edwards is he doesn't know. Whereas Carlos Corberán would have a plan. I think that's the difference in these two managers defensively anyway. So for me, despite Luton's performances at home, last two performances being improvements, they're coming up against a very, very awkward West Brom team. Awkward.
Yeah, of course they are, because any team managed by Carlos Corberán is awkward. I just don't think double chance would make much sense, because it would be extremely short and you wouldn't be getting much value for your money in a bet builder.
I don't take risks. You know me.
Yeah, but if we're here trying to present a appetising bet builder to the listener, then we want to get some juicy odds on our sides. Side.
Yeah, and Luton to win is you've got to have pretty big balls. And look, I'll support it, but it's bold. It's bold.
Of course, well, it's very bold, and as we allude to quite a lot, Justin, we're both going bold, so that we should know about that more than anyone, shouldn't we? But look, as I say, if you back in one or the other to win this game, I would rather side with Luton based off their recent home performances. That's the bottom line for me. May blow up in my face, but we'll soon find out, won't we, on a later tonight. But anyway, our bet builder for this weekend in our game of the weekend, Luton v West Brom, ladies and gents. It's Elijah Adebayo to have a shot on target, under 4.5 cards, under 3.5 goals, and Luton Town to win. And a £10 stake on that returns roughly £100, thanks to SBK's 25% bet builder boost on that match. But remember, if you don't fancy our bet builder with SBK, you can create your own bet builder from a range of markets. T's and C's apply, over 18s only, and please gamble responsibly. Justin, let's have a quick break. After that, we'll get on to the rest of our predictions for this weekend. Welcome back to the Second Tier podcast, and it's now time for us to have a look ahead to the weekend. So in each preview episode of the Second Tier, Justin and I will each pick a banker, a team we think is guaranteed to win this coming weekend, as well as an outsider. So someone we think is going to win, but is bigger odds with our friends at SBK than their opponent. We're tracking how we do as the season goes on. It's 1 point for a correct banker, 2 points for an outsider. Whoever loses has to do a forfeit, which is to be a mascot at an EFL game next season. The current scores look like this. It's 13-7 to Justin Peach. Justin, we keep nailing our bankers at the moment. It's quite remarkable, isn't it? We've got fantastic form with both of our bankers. Not so much our outsiders, but the bankers, we are just nailing them.
Yeah. And what's all this talk about this second tier curse? Because, everyone keeps saying, oh, you curse our team, oh, this and that. Oh, come on, guys. We are nailing these, as you quite rightly said.
I'll tell you what it is, Justin. I'll tell you what it is. It's utter bollocks. That's what it is.
It's jealousy.
Yeah, jealousy. Of our banker efficiency.
Yeah, of our efficiency to bank. That's what it is.
We're all over that banking. Right, come on, you banker then. What's your first banker for the weekend?
I've gone with Middlesbrough to win at home to Coventry. I've been here before, and I swore to never fall for Middlesbrough's tomfoolery again, but I'm here, ready to get hurt once more. But they have been so at home this season. They have been hit and miss at times, but quite incredibly, their away game against Norwich last weekend really has got my mouth watering. They were tantalising going forwards, and they took apart quite often a very good Norwich team, and they could have scored 6. They created that many chances, but they scored 3. They took 3 goals, took them home, and that was a decent fixture. And I think going into this game against Coventry, against a side who are going to be awkward customers, because they're going to be confident themselves. Sky Blues, having come from a 2-0 deficit to beat Luton last weekend. But for me, Middlesbrough at home, on the back of the last 2 performances going forwards, I feel like maybe a corner has been turned in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net. Fingers crossed. It's a risky banker, but you know. That's why I'm top of the leaderboard here. I take risks.
Yeah, this guy.
Completely contradicting what I said in the first half.
Yeah, what a massive banker he is. Yeah, I'm hoping we've got to that stage where Middlesbrough have clicked, Justin, because they have been fantastic so far, haven't they? Much better than their results suggest. And they now head into this with strikers who have been scoring again. So I'm excited to see whether that is the corner turned for Borough. But, you know, as you were alluding to, it's a tricky game with Coventry, isn't it? Who may very well have clicked themselves, because, as you say, they were fantastic against Luton, coming from 2 goals down to win in the 90th minute. Wasn't really a proper reflection of that game, because they were much the better side throughout, weren't they? So give me an idea on a scale of 1 to 10 how worried you are about Coventry being back and putting pedal to the metal when it comes to going to the Riverside this weekend.
I don't think they'll put pedal to the metal. Is that a saying?
Yeah, like when you put your foot down.
Yeah, I don't think they will be in that category. I think Mark Robins will be going into the game probably very happy to come away with a point. I think Coventry need to build solid foundations for them to keep going. But I think what we saw against Luton in that second half is how good they can be going forwards. And I think if Mark Robins gets his first 11 right against Borough, there might be some questions. You know, he had to make a couple of tweaks. Victor Torp came in against Luton, changed the game. Jack Rudoni came on at left wing back again. Was a massive impact on them going forwards. So I think if he gets a starting 11 right, maybe we can start to ask questions. I mean, we won't know until 60 minutes into the game when changes get made, but I think it comes down to that. But in addition to that, they boast a lot of attacking quality. So if this game ends up 4-3, 5-3, 5-4 to someone, I wouldn't be surprised. That being said, Middlesbrough have been very efficient defensively this season. I think that's something that gets overshadowed. They are a fairly decent controlling team, and we're starting to see them control games better, which I think, you know, with Coventry just getting started, might fall in Middlesbrough's favour a little bit.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what I was saying about Coventry?
I think I would about 5. About a 5. I'm not sure we're there yet.
That's still quite big. That's still quite a chunky margin, because there's still a very good chance that if Coventry do play like they did, particularly in the second half against Luton, then they could catch out Middlesbrough, couldn't they? And particularly if Middlesbrough are having one of those days again. So either way, I think this is going to be a really, really good game between two sides full of talent. So yeah, I'm looking forward to catching up with this one at the weekend. My banker of the weekend is Leeds to win at home to Plymouth on Saturday afternoon. Surely this is the bank of the season, isn't it? Surely Leeds, the strongest team in the league, won 20 of their last 29 games at Elland Road against the side who are completely and utterly hopeless away from home. Plymouth have won just 1 point from 6 games on the road this season, only scored 1 goal on their travels as well. They are so bad away, and it's not just this season, because since the start of last season they lost 18 of their 29 away games, winning just 3. So I think that's fair to say not very promising, and that's before you even get onto the strength of the respective squads. Plymouth are once again without Ibrahim Sissoko, who's suspended. He's been their best player so far, and without him I struggle to see them laying a glove on Leeds. And look, Leeds do have a habit of making hard work of certain games, but even if they did that here, I would be stunned if that led to them not winning, simply because the strength of these two squads are light years apart, even with injuries for Leeds. So I'm going for a Leeds win, and I could very easily see Plymouth getting torn apart if Leeds are in the right mood. That is somewhat of an if, because Leeds have a habit of being a bit temperamental, but put plain and simply, they are a significantly stronger side than Plymouth are. That's before you even get onto home and away form. So that's why I'm going for a Leeds win. And as I say, surely the banker of the season, isn't it?
The bankiest of bankers. I'm going to throw a math equation at you. Are you ready?
Oh, God, here we go.
So you've got Leeds, 20 wins in 29 games at Elland Road, times Plymouth's useless away record.
Yep.
Plus Wayne Rooney's useless away record.
Mm-hmm.
What does that equals?
It equals bank of the season, doesn't it?
Theoretically, yes. But in my calculator, it equals a 1-0 away win for Plymouth.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. You keep doubting my bankers at the moment. It's very strange considering as we say, we've been nailing the bankers recently.
Yeah, I like to throw a little spanner in the works every now and then, or most weeks actually. But look, Plymouth, they're shit away from home. Wayne Rooney's away records awful as well. Plymouth have scored just once on their travels this season, conceded 13. Yeah, this is the bankiest of bankers you could possibly get.
It really is. It's got to be, hasn't it? If Leeds don't get this job done, then wow, they will be going full Leedsiness, won't they, Justin? So come on, Leeds, do the business for everyone involved, as particularly anyone who's got them in any multiples for this weekend. Speaking of which, Justin, you are my bankers for the weekend, and every week we combine these two selections with a bet on the full-time results of our game of the weekend to create our very own second-tier featured multiple with SBK. It's worth mentioning that our multiple won last week. We've now got 2 out of 4 correct on our multiples, so this is our opportunity to make it 3 from 5, Justin, which is pretty special, I would say. So with that being said, we're going for Leeds, Middlesbrough and Luton all to win. And this weekend, SBK are once again offering a 20% ACCA boost for the championship. So a £10 bet on our multiple returns roughly £60. With SBK, you can create your own multiple with 3 more bets on the full-time result of any game from across the championship. And for any ACCA with a minimum of 3 selections, you'll get a 20% boost. That offer expires at 3 p.m. on Saturday. T's and T's apply, over 18s only, and please gamble responsibly. Right, let's go to our outsiders for the weekend, ladies and gents. However, before we get onto that, we have a bit more controversy with the outsiders, because we've had a fair bit recently, but I have to reveal that one Justin Peach has once again been editing his WhatsApp messages.
What?
Now, I don't know what he's edited, because I didn't see the original message on this occasion. No. But this would be potentially the second time this season he's changed his pick after submitting it. Justin Peach, how do you respond?
No. Sorry, I'm just bringing up the WhatsApp conversation in my on my desktop. That was... Just stop twisting this.
Oh?
Because this is bullshit.
Okay. Why was it edited then?
All it edited was all I sent to you was B. Literally, all I sent to you was B. I typed in B and then sent it because I'm trying to use a Mac. I'm an old man now. I'm trying to use a Mac and I'm trying to tier my banker and my outsider, and I didn't. All I sent to you was B. I didn't want to be ridiculed because that's what you are. You're a bully.
I think we'll have to see what the jury has to say about that, because I feel like the evidence is very much stacked against you.
There's no evidence, is there? There's no evidence. All you've got is an edited WhatsApp message.
Next time, how about you just leave that message in there for full clarity? Because then I won't see any edited, and there won't be any accusations of changing your picks last minute. Because now this is 2, Justin, and we're, 12 games into the season. Absolutely. It's not a good look, is it?
No. You are a bully. You're a bully. And you're bullying me now, and you'd have bullied me if I'd have completely screwed up my wording, and that's what happened.
This is what the criminal said to Batman when he caught him red-handed.
You're a bully, Batman.
Justin, what is your outsider then that you changed at last minute?
My original pick and my only pick for my outsider has been Blackburn to win at home to Sheffield United. Look, I'm falling here on Blackburn's successes at home and Blades' recent poor form away from home. Rovers do sit joint top when it comes to their home record, with Sunderland only ahead of them on goal difference or goal scored, however you want to put it. So they're going to be a tough cookie in this game. That's very obvious. It will be a tight one, with maybe Eustace's side edging it. Blade winners in their last 3 games struggled to break down Portsmouth, Leeds and Borough, were second best against Leeds and Borough. And I think I could see the same here with this Rovers team, who have conceded just 3 at home all season, one being that Mark Harris worldie. So they're not only are they a difficult side to beat, they're a difficult side to break down at home, and they do have the quality, as we know, to edge these tight games. So yeah, I've gone with Blackburn to win at home against Sheffield United.
Yeah, I'm not totally sold on Sheffield United yet. I wouldn't say I'm a sceptic. I just need a bit more swaying on them. So I think it is plausible that Blackburn can get the win here, despite Sheffield United starting the season really well. I am slightly concerned that performances are dipping for Rovers, though. I think we can both agree they're not playing as well as they were earlier in the season, Justin. And Hayden Carter, it's got to be said, has been ruled out for the rest of the year with a knee injury as well, which is a blow for them, isn't it, Justin?
No, it is. He's a brilliant player, and he's, I think to highlight his quality, not only defensively but also, his composure is that opening game against Derby where he put in a beauty of a cross. I can't remember who scored it, but he's got quality in abundance. And I think when you're going to miss players like that, especially defensively, which John Eustace's sides are built very, very rigidly, and he likes to ensure that his teams are hard to break down. When you're missing one of your key players defensively, it's going to be a blow. But I think that again, they're another side who have got abundance of experience. Danny Bart could come in. Obviously, Dom Hyams there. So there is cover, which I would say.
Let's go to my outsider for this weekend. I've gone with Millwall to win at home to Burnley on Sunday afternoon. We went against Burnley in last week's preview show, ladies and gents. We're doing it again here. Look, I don't want to dwell on Burnley's flaws too much because we've given them a lot of airtime in recent weeks. But the bottom line here is they are having a real problem in breaking teams down. Yes, they have lost just once this season. However, I don't think that accurately depicts how they've been playing. Yes, they know how to keep the ball, but converting possession into chances is proving to be a real problem. And a great example of that was in the goalless draw against QPR last weekend. And if a QPR side with one of the poorest defensive records in the league is managing to pretty comfortably keep Burnley at bay, then boy, they're going to really struggle against Millwall. Just 1 goal conceded in their last 4 games. Only one team outside the top 5 has conceded fewer goals than them this season. And they've lost just 1 of their last 7. Got to be said, scoring goals is the main issue because they have just scored 3 in 5. But with a side like Millwall, all it takes is one chance. One chance, baby. That's all it takes. And so I'm backing Millwall to become just the second team this season to beat Burnley, because I think they could find themselves getting frustrated once again with a stubborn Millwall defence, Justin.
It would be very Millwall to beat a team who have 80% possession, wouldn't it? It's just what Millwall are renowned for, really, especially under Neil Harris. And that's not to discredit what Neil Harris has done this season. He has really elevated their game. They're a very direct side, very high pressing, and they're very, very awkward to come up against. But I actually do think Burnley being Burnley and being so passive and indecisive, if you like, going forward, might actually work in their favour a little bit here, because I think for long, they're going to have the ball for long spells, and therefore Millwall are going to find it difficult to retrieve it and create chances just because of Burnley's quality in possession, quality in keeping possession. That is, not actually carving teams open. And we've seen time and time again that Burnley only need one chance to put away, almost similar to Millwall. So I actually think Burnley being Burnley and Parkerville might work in their favour in this game. That being said, like you highlighted with Millwall, only need one chance.
I could not disagree more with that, Justin, because everything you've just said there about Millwall not getting much of the ball doesn't really matter to them. I'm just looking at their wins so far this season. In each of those wins, here's the amount of possession they had in each of those games: 30%, 39%, 36%, 40%, 36%. So they don't need much of the ball to hit some blows on opposition teams, and that's why the way Burnley play could fall straight into Millwall's hands, especially if they're anything like they were playing against QPR last weekend. I'm still getting over Scott Parker saying that was the best they've played this season, Justin. Which I don't know what game he was watching.
Yeah, the less said about that, the better, I think. They weren't great. Maybe he just likes keeping the ball. Maybe he thinks that's the best they get the ball, and that might well be the case. But unfortunately, Mr. Parker, you didn't win. You barely had a shot, a convincing chance on target, and you're a bit shit. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Also, got to be said, Zian Fleming derby. So that's a little bit of extra spice for that game. Guess what? It's now time for this.
All right. Settle down, you lot. It's time for the Craig Bryson pub quiz.
You're damn right, Mr. Barman. And this is how it works. I'm going to give Justin 6 clues about a Championship player, past or present, each more revealing than the next. And he simply has to guess who it is. They must have made over 200 Championship appearances in their career. And don't forget, the Dexter Blackstock rule is in play. Justin, do you want the first clue?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, go on then.
I have 236 Championship appearances, scoring 16 goals.
Potentially a fullback, potentially a central midfielder. I'm going to go with Grant Ledbetter.
It's not Grant Ledbetter, but always good to hear him mentioned. Your second clue is this, Justin. I made my professional debut in the League Cup in 2011, playing for Tottenham Hotspur.
Tottenham Hotspur, 2011. 236 Championship appearances and 16 goals. But he played for Spurs in the League Cup in 2011.
Yep.
That's a Harry Redknapp team.
It's Harry Redknapp, you guess.
No, I'm just trying to get my head around who it could be. I will. Carl Norton's that's too late for Carl Norton. So I'll go with Oliver Skip.
It's definitely too early for Oliver Skip as well,
shit,
isn't it?
Yeah.
But good to hear him mentioned as well. Also, nowhere near 200 Championship appearances.
Yeah, he'd have been about 12 making his debut as well.
Yeah. Not a great guess, but nonetheless, you've still got time in the bank, Justin. Your third clue is this. I made my first appearance in the Championship whilst on loan at Ipswich Town in 2012.
I can't remember if that was the Roy Keane or Paul Jewell years. Equally forgettable.
Do you want a clue on that one?
Okay.
It was neither.
Oh, shit.
Who else would it have been?
Jim Magilton.
No, Big Mick. Come on now, mate.
Was he really?
Yes.
Oh, so he must have been a bit of a shithouse player if Big Mick's gone for him. I can't think of anyone.
That's fine. Do you want to move on to the next one?
No.
You've still got three clues in the bank, mate.
I'm going to throw a name at you.
All right.
No, let's go to the next one.
Okay then. This could really make the shit hit the fan, this clue. I was nominated for the Ballon d'Or in 2015.
236 championship appearances.
Yes.
Michael Dawson.
Is that your actual guess?
No.
You can't. Next time I will have to accept that if you just throw in a player out like that.
Ballon d'Or 2015.
Yes.
Ballon d'Or. To quote Rio Ferdinand, Ballon d'Or.
Now, I'm glad you haven't got it straight off the back of that, because it's one of those things that you either know or you don't. So the fact that you don't know it means this is really going to mess with your psyche.
We're tight here. We're really, really tight.
I will point out as well, neither of us have got a Craig Bryson pub quiz wrong yet this season. So this is interesting.
Why are we playing mind games? Why are we playing mind games? We didn't say this was part of it. Jake Livermore definitely wasn't nominated for the Ballon d'Or in 2015, so I'm out of ideas.
You go, Jake Livermore.
Oh, I may as well.
It's not Jake Livermore, but good to hear him mentioned. 2 clues left, Justin. At Championship level, I've played for 3 clubs. The aforementioned Ipswich Town, Sheffield Wednesday, and Queen's Park Rangers. Not seeing much movement on Justin Peach's face here, ladies and gents. I've got to fill the gap somehow because he's deep in thought. He's just looking down at the moment in despair.
236 championship appearances.
Now, I'm not necessarily a great reader of people's facial expressions, but I am sensing a bit of panic in Justin Peach right now.
I'm a little bit stressed, yeah. Because 3 teams.
It's not many teams, is it?
No, so he's obviously played a lot of games for someone. And it's not going to be a loan spell at Ipswich. Could have been a season at Ipswich. But Sheffield Wednesday spent some time in League One. So again, that's really difficult. That might have not been too long ago. It's the QPR. He spent time at QPR. I might get it on that final clue.
The final clue is a big one. I will say that much. You're gonna risk it.
Yeah.
He's risking it for a biscuit, ladies and gents. Here you go. The Craig Bryson pub quiz. Neither of us have got one wrong yet this season. This could be it. Your final clue, Justin, is this. I have 45 caps for Australia. Justin Peach is pinching that kind of bit above your nose, like between your eyes. I'm not sure what that bit's called, but he's pinching that at the moment. Now he's thinking deep in thought. It doesn't seem like many answers are coming his way, although he's just pulled a face.
This is horrendous.
Ooh. No. Have you got any inkling at all, Justin?
I've got a name, yeah, but...
Okay. Okay.
But I don't know if he made any appearances for this name, so it might be a red herring. Sorry, he might have made any appearances. Ballon d'Or, though, no fucking way.
Yeah. The Ballon d'Or one, as I say, really makes the shit hit the fan.
Well, I think with the Ballon d'Or, like, you're not nominated, but your country might put you forward. I'm going to go Massimo Luongo.
For the first time this season, ladies and gents, Justin Peach still hasn't got one wrong. It is Massimo Luongo. It is correct, ladies and gents. Right at the depth. He thought he was about to fall foul to the Craig Bryson pub quiz, but he didn't. He managed to just save it right at the end. Yes, that's right, ladies and gents. Massimo Luongo was nominated for the Ballon d'Or in 2015.
How? What happened there?
So I was reading up on it. So that year he scored in the final of the Gold Cup, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
For Australia. Not sure how that warranted being nominated as one of the best players in the world, but apparently it did. So that's why he was nominated, and Massimo Luongo has since commented on that, saying he thought it was a practical joke when he first found out, which is very funny. But another red herring that I threw in there was the fact that he made his first appearance in the Championship whilst on loan at Ipswich in 2012, And he has played for 3 clubs at championship level: Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday and QPR. Of course, he's back at Ipswich, isn't he? He got promoted with them last season.
But he was contracted to Middlesbrough.
Didn't play for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Played for 3 clubs,
I know.
Justin.
That's why I was like, did he make an appearance or not? That was what was in my head. Like the last 2 rounds, I was like, he's played for Borough. Yeah,
I was considering whether I should have let you know that he played for Australia or not, which I think would have been very harsh if I didn't. But there you go. He managed to get there in the end, ladies and gents. Massimo Luongo, the answer to this week's Craig Bryson pub quiz. It was a close one, but he got there in the end.